Listen, I am so excited about today's show. She's been here before, but man, like how often can you have Stephanie Garcia come hang out with you? She is on the live stream with me. And before we get started, I do want you to do me a favor, guys. Tony is already there saying hello. And if you're watching, please let me know where you're watching from. Say hello to us. Let us know that you're hanging out today. I definitely want to shout out all of the Ecamm Live community that has reached out inside of our community page, say they were coming today and kind of hanging out with us. Now, I'm going to do my part. I said that I would have the links to our Zoom. So at any point you guys want to ask Stephanie a question today, guess what? She will be available. All you have to do is join the Zoom, whether it's audio or video, and you can ask her your particular question. It is really that simple. So Aubrey, I see you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. And I see Twill has already joined the Zoom. Thank you for coming in. We're going to get a chance to be there. Peachtree City, Georgia. I did not know that you were that close, Aubrey. Thank you for being there. Eric, thank you for hanging out with us today. The co-author is from Jackson, California. Eric, thank you for hanging out. And Eric, the Zoom link is there too, brother. If you have a setup and a phone or whatever, and you want to join the call, please do that. I really would like to talk to you as well. That being said, let me give you an update from Anna and Fulgens about ENN coming up this week. Check this out.
Hello everyone and welcome back. This is what's happening this week at Ecamm. Starting with ENN, there will be no ENN this week as we will be enjoying ourselves for Memorial Day with our families.
And if any of you celebrate Memorial Day, we hope you have a great one as well. Creator Camp tickets are nearly sold out. There are about less than 10 tickets remaining. So if you are still interested in attending, this is probably the last week for you to secure your ticket.
That is right. And following up, Katie is going live on Wednesday to introduce us to Neil Fairmont. Neil is an incredible creator and you do not want to miss the chance to meet him.
Yes. And Marshall is back with another edition of Marshall Creates. This week, Marshall is talking all about branding your professional content. Whether you are presenting on Zoom or going live on LinkedIn, this is probably a good week for you to dive in and learn.
That is right. And last, but certainly not least, on Friday we have Ecamm Live Demo, and that is a place for you to learn more about Ecamm and ask all of the questions that you would like to ask regarding Ecamm. We will hope to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ana Hill.
And I'm Fulgens Henry.
We will see you next time.
Oh man, you gotta love that. Big shouts out to Anna and Fulgens. Thank you for that update. And you guys, please enjoy. I mean, really enjoy Memorial Day weekend, okay? That being said, again, if you're coming into the chat, thank you so very much. Without further ado, I cannot wait to have this young lady on the show to talk about her book. Guess what, guys? I absolutely have it here. Check this out, man. Like, this is one of the coolest things to actually know people that have taken the time to write a book, not just for the community, but for all of us, business owners and for influencers, to know how to actually do it the right way. The ultimate guide to influencer marketing. So let's do this. Let's bring her on right now. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I am doing so well, and we're twinning. Wait,
Yes,
I'll
we
hold
are.
mine up
Yes,
too.
we
We're
are.
like, we're twinning and we have the same.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I love it. This is great. It's always fun hanging out with you, and it's so happy to see the crew. I saw Saidi in the comments. I saw my co-author Eric Buto in there too. Hey, so nice to see everyone. Oh, Jeremy's here. Jeremy was like, I'm coming here just to heckle Stephanie. I was like,
Yes,
okay.
he is. And I'm sure he'll be right there. There we go. All right. And K-Walk is saying, hey, fam. And again, There's Stephanie. I was just saying that. And we have a bunch of people that are in the comments. Thank you so very much. I actually have some people in the Zoom as well. Eric is in the Zoom. Eric, I'll be coming to you just a minute. The co-author of the book is just hanging out. Guess what? When you do stuff like this, you never know. I will tell you this, Stephanie. This actually happened to me one time. We'll get in the book. I got to tell you this story. I was interviewing a guy by the name of Greg Fillinganes. He's a piano player, musician. He did the Bad Tour. He did several tours with Michael Jackson, right? So I'm interviewing him live with another one of my friends, Dr. Henry Pangan, and his phone rings. And he tells me the real name of the person. I don't know who the real name of the person is. And it turned out to be Smokey Robinson. So I'm interviewing him while Smokey Robinson calls him on the phone and they're actually talking. And I was like, man, like this actually happened on one of my streams. So just things happen when you go live. All right. Things happen when you go live.
That's so
Sometimes
cool.
sometimes it could be bad things or what do you do? And sometimes it could be great experiences, right?
That's very true. That's it. That's wild. I would freak out. I'd be like, oh my gosh, are you for real? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was really cool. It was really cool happening. And now I got Stephanie on with me, and who's been on before. But of course, with this new book, I really want to share what you're doing with the world. Take the time to stop the stream show just a little bit and talk about what you have here in this book. Stephanie, how long did it take you and Eric to kind of put this together?
Oh gosh. I think, and Eric will tell me in the comments, maybe it was like a year and a half or 2 years, but I know it was just like the development of going through, here's the table of contents, putting together the chapters, getting the interviews. Because a lot of it, I was interviewing a lot of my friends that were content creators, and then a lot of my friends that were in the agency world, compiling that together, transcribing it, putting it together in the book. Yeah, I would have to say maybe a year and a half or two. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome for you to take that time. And as people are, trying to write books, trying to think about, the concepts of writing, this is different. As you can tell, I just want to get the profile of it. I don't want to I have books in here from my friends. I don't want to put the books beside this one, but I like the size of this. Like, how did you come up with doing it in this size, almost like a textbook size to put on a shelf, to actually distribute it this way? What was the idea behind this?
We actually wanted it to be like your ultimate guide, right? So it's something that you could reference as you're going through your influencer marketing campaign. So whether you're deciding, okay, what kind of campaign do I want to have? What kind of creators do I want to work with? It's like you could flip through it. You could jump through the different chapters and say like, okay, I'm right here. What's the next step? And walk through it. Because these are some tried and true, I would say agency tested, right? And it's been proven to work. It's proven techniques.
I get it. And I picked this up and I was actually flying last week and trying my best to read it. But because of the size, guess what? It makes it easier to read. So thank you so very much for that. Because I'm at the age right now where I need glasses, but I don't want to wear them. So the size of the book really helps. So thank you for that. This is what I want to do right now. I mean, he's here. I would love to take an opportunity to kind of go into a conversation with Eric that kind of bring him in right now, since we're at the top of this, and discuss some of the things of the roles or the part that he played. Let me see if I can add his camera on that camera. And I kind of love that we have all these little cool features and functions with Ecamm right now.
I know Ecamm is so cool.
Ecamm is really cool, man. It just really is.
Okay.
There we go. Eric, how are you doing?
Here I am.
Hey, thank you so
everybody.
very much for joining. I know this is kind of like you knew the call was coming up, but to actually come on, man, means a lot to me. And of course, by you being the co-author of this book, what was the process like with working with Stephanie?
I've worked with Stephanie before, so I already knew that she was, A1 Pro. So
That she is.
I was very excited to work with her again on the influencer marketing book. I already had worked with Entrepreneur Press on several other books in the past, including our book, Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing, which will will soon embark on a second edition. So,
Oh, that's
sneak
awesome.
peek. Yeah. So, yeah, once I floated the idea of influencer marketing to my editor, he was all in. And so I knew who to call. And Stephanie and I worked together. And yeah, like she said, it takes roughly from start to finish about year and a half to 2 years.
I get it. I get it. And it's definitely something like I feel like it is a reference, and Stephanie already mentioned that this could be a reference for people as they're going through. Uh, am I right in saying that it's for both the small businesses and for the influencer?
Yes. Yes. It's soup to nuts, no nonsense for both audiences.
That makes the difference. I feel like it makes a difference for people. And while I'm saying that, I can't go any further into this conversation without adding my guy Kirk Nugent in. Kirk, thank you for joining us today. As you can tell, I have both the authors of this new book. Stephanie and Eric is here, The Ultimate Guide to
That's awesome.
Influencer Marketing. And I want to ask this question as you come on, Kirk. In chapter number 5, just so that I'm getting into the depths of what we're doing, you give 4 tips for reaching out to micro influencers. So this is for businesses, people that have businesses. What You don't have to give all the tips because it's in the book. We want people to go get the book. But what should businesses really be thinking about so that the micro influencers know what they should be doing? And Stephanie, I asked you that question to kind of help us get started.
Yeah, I will definitely say if you're a small business owner and you want to work with influencers, the best thing that you can do is really start putting together your campaign brief, because your campaign brief is really going to tell your influencer what type of content you're going to create, what's expected from them, and what format. And the other thing that I would say too is that when you're working with these influencers, when you reach out to them, you want to make sure that it's very personalized. Like if I'm going to pitch Kirk, all right, I'm like, hey, Kirk, I
Right?
love your show about this. Da-da-da-da. And you talk about all the different things that makes him unique and how he could add value to the campaign and why you want him to be a part of it. Not some generic thing that you just kind of like pull out of Chat GPT, but more or less of like, hey, I really like what you said about this. And I think that's really going to get your email, your direct message floating to the very top of their inbox. And that's where they'll really start to pay attention to what it is that you have to offer.
I like
Mm.
that. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now, Kirk, you have an opportunity to work with and collaborate with a lot of brands. From a influencer standpoint, how does that help you? Like for a book like this, how does that help you get ready?
Uh, well, first of all, anything that's anything that Stephanie does,
I agree. I
I
agree 100%.
pretty much
Whatever she says,
no.
we're
I mean,
listening to.
and to be quite honest, that spreadsheet that she gave out back in the secrets from the set showrunners, where she helped us to do pricing, that was kind of a breakthrough for me. I mean, as when I was actually trying to figure out what can I do with these skills to be a remote producer, that was something that I took and was like, oh wow,
Right?
there's a lot of doors that can open. And so I just want to throw that in there. I know that's not part of what your question was, but the truth of the matter is I've learned in this creator business that while it is business and while there are real dollars and cents attached, there's also a very real human component. And so that one tip is very critical in terms of making sure that you are couching the whole experience in something that is relatable, something that you would actually do yourself, something that you would actually appreciate. If somebody approached me in that way, I would absolutely receive it well,
Right.
regardless of whether or not I'm actually going to, take on the business or do the project or whatever it is, but I'm still going to receive it well. And I think there's a component there that we maybe sometimes gloss over. How you pitch a business, how you pitch a project, how you pitch a partnership, and how it is received, regardless of whether or not it's successful, is critically important because people talk. And so how you pitch this business or this, I don't want to get into the book, you got to get the book, but how you pitch this business, how you pitch this brand, somebody may talk to one another. And even though it might not be the right time or the right project for this particular brand at that moment, you could easily have that brand talk to another brand and talk to another brand. And I've had this actually happen
Wow.
where somebody says, man, I couldn't work with Kirk, but let me tell you something. I really enjoyed that conversation.
That's good.
And I just kind of felt like I was talking to a fellow business, person that understood the dynamics and, was very real. So I imagine that working with him is going to be really dope. That's actually with a tone and tenor that you want to set. So I won't say anymore, but I just want to affirm. I know I'm coming in late, so I feel like I can apologize to Strick by just doing this right here, right now, since he gave me the mic. And it's always dangerous when you give somebody like me a microphone. But I just say this book is revolutionary. So right now, if you have not purchased it, this is your opportunity. Now, in the faith-based space, there's a phrase. I know Strick knows where I'm going to go with this, and there's a phrase that is said. An author has no honor in his own home. Sometimes we get familiar with the greatness that is those who we come in contact with on a regular basis. And so in the Ecamm community, Stephanie is a staple. She is somebody that we get to see. We get to experience her greatness on a regular basis. I'm telling you, do not let that be a limiting factor in terms of whether you're going to get this book or not. Oh, it's Stephanie. I see her. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. I'm telling you, there's something in this book that could be the difference maker in terms of how you grow your business, how you continue to progress on your creator journey. I'm telling you this, and I'm highly encouraging you to go ahead and get one. Now, I'm going to be doing something inside my community where we're going to be giving away several copies to some of the workers in the workers warehouse. And I'm going to work with Stephanie to get some of them signed, but don't let it be that, it's just that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let us support our own. I hate seeing those scenarios where somebody blows up and is like, oh shoot, they were with us. We were hanging together. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't get on the moving train. That joint, you should have got on at that time. You should buy the book now.
Kirk, this is what I'm planning on doing.
Value now.
This is what I'm planning on doing, Kirk. I have my
Creator
Camp book here, right? So I have my book. And I know Stephanie's going to be at Creator Camp, so I'm bringing the book, like I'm packing the book so I can get it personally signed. And all I need is someone just to record it, like video, me getting the book signed by her at Creator Camp. And I have everything, the trifecta of everything that I would want from getting this book. Not only the information, but also a signed copy. So that's really cool. So Eric, I have to figure out how you can sign it too, but I'm sure we'll work that out.
Somebody just asked in the chat, where's the link to get the book? I just want to make sure that we respond to that. Because you got to get the book. We're going to interview Stephanie. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk to the co-writer as well, and we're going to give some information, some context around all the different things. But we're not going to give you the book. We're not going to. What I mean by that is we're not going to give you all the information that's in the book. You still have to get the book. Yeah, there we go. Somebody says I just bought the Kindle version.
Yeah. So thank you, Aubrey. Thank you, Aubrey.
Thank you.
That'd be really, really cool. Thank you so very much, Kirk, for that. And also, I do want you to know, and people have joined in the Zoom already. If you have questions, just type them in, and I'll be sure to get that to you. And Eric has done us a favor and put the link the link is there. Yeah. So let me copy this link. This is what I need to do. Let me copy this.
We're going to put it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to copy it because we have inside of Ecamm, of course, links would not go to, other people can't just do links inside of YouTube. So there you go. I actually added it to, I know what I'm doing over here. So this is really cool. And if you have a question in LinkedIn, please write the question in, and Jeremy is hanging out with us there. If you would like to come on, the link is in the comments, and we would love to have you to come on. Kirk, I love doing the Zoom this way. This is the way Eric is coming to our show as well. Absolutely. And I just believe in using this technology that is still in beta with Ecamm, but it works so well.
I just want to say one last thing, and then I'm going to shut up for a little bit, and you'll understand why right after I say it.
Okay.
Strick knows this, so it's not a surprise to him. I'm so vested in this show tonight and this book and this author that I'm actually producing a client show right now.
Wow.
I'm producing a client show right now. Strick knows this. He knows the
Yes.
second and fourth
Yes.
Thursdays. I have a client show that I produce, and you didn't even expect me to come in tonight. Am I correct?
Later. I
Right?
said that you would come in a little later. Yes.
But
There you go.
I said no. I'm gonna have to make my way in because I could not miss the opportunity to plug this book. I want to just lend my voice and let folks know. No, this right here, this is something you definitely want to get your hands on. I thought Stephanie would have written this book years ago, and the fact that she took time is because she's trying to make sure she had some of the building blocks in place, some of the experiences she hadn't had yet, right? And so all of that has been, that secret sauce is sprinkled within the book. There's a quote that I love that says, I don't want to derail, but there's a quote that I love that says, failure is the condiment that makes success sweet.
Wow.
That's a
I'm gonna let
nice
that
one.
sink in.
I'm gonna have to steal that one.
I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. And what I want you to understand is that every book, every piece of content, every how-to, it's because somebody failed at something. And you're getting the ultimate cheat code of how not to fail at that thing by
good.
Gaining access to the information that's in the book. So let me shut up now.
I love it, Kurt. Thank you so very much. And I know you're there listening, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back and have an opportunity to talk a little bit more. But Eric, I'm coming to you as well. In chapter number 7, guys, you give out the types of influencer collaborations, and I want to talk about how important that is business-wise and for the influencer to really focus on collaborations in the work that they do. So, Stephanie, you mind answering that question, and I'll go to you as well, Eric?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's all different types of influencer collaborations out there. I think all of us can all agree that we've done some type of affiliate marketing. Listen, if you're Ecamm fam, Doc would have told you right away, you need to sign up to become an affiliate, because every time you produce a show, you are doing affiliate marketing, and that's a type of influencer that you have out there. And so that's the most common that's out there. The other one is brand ambassadors. Brand ambassadorship is not just only online, but when you go to events and you're sporting like your Ecamm fam gear. I was just telling you, Strick, I was like, anytime I go to the gym, I'm wearing this, right? Or if I'm traveling, it's the You're on Mute, hoodie that I'm wearing. So it's that brand ambassadorship where if I go to Vid Summit and people ask me about what do I use for live streaming, I always tell them it's going to be Ecamm, right? And so that's one of the things that you can do. Event sponsorship and attendance is another one that we do mention in the book. So there are times when a brand has said, Stephanie, we need a speaker to show up at this event. And because you are using our product and you know the ins and outs of it, we would love for you to host a workshop or do this or do that. I'm like, okay, say less. What do you need me to do? And so they'll pay for the flight, the hotel, whatever it needs to be done, and just make sure that I'm taken care of, so that way I could deliver that content. So those are just a few of the different things in there. I'm not going to name all of them because obviously Eric's going to come on too, but those I can say from my own experience. I've done the affiliate marketing, I've done the brand ambassador, and I've also been sent to conferences to speak on behalf of different strategic partners that I've had in my back pocket.
Yes, you have so many. You basically taught us. For me, I've definitely watched how you work with other brands and thought, man, this is great. And it's not easy working with brands, the collaboration that you have to have, but more importantly, the partnership that has to be made. I think that it has to be something that is beneficial for both groups. And as a content creator, as an influencer, picking the right brand is important, but also for a brand it's important. So Eric, let me ask you, as you have collaborated in this, what do you think are some of the highlights for brands to collaborate with influencers?
Well, throughout the book, we have tips and stories to help drive home some key points. And one of the tip we have in chapter 7 is following FTC guidelines about endorsements and testimonials in advertising. So I think that is probably the key takeaway from this chapter, not just understanding, which collaborations we have, the different types, but also understanding, you're going to have to follow the rules if you're going to actually
Right.
be a trusted influencer.
I like that. Now, I've never thought about all of that. And of course, reading it is new to me. Stephanie, do you want to dive into some of those rules? Like just some of the things that people need to be thinking of that they would not be aware of at all, if not
Yeah,
taught?
absolutely. I mean, I would say if you want to be an influencer, if you are a content creator and you're creating content on behalf of brands, you do have to disclose that it's a paid partnership. The FTC guidelines actually made new updates. I believe it was like November of last year. I had interviewed Lindsay Gamble, who just like went through the whole entire board. And he even said that like on TikTok these days, if you were to do any type of sponsored content, the first hashtag you need to put in there is hashtag ad. And it's not one of those things where you could only say it in the middle of your video, or if it's like the very last hashtag buried with like 10 other hashtags. It has to be very apparent that it's a paid sponsorship in there. Otherwise, the FTC definitely has any means necessary to come after you and talk to you about it. There are things where even the brand partner, if they get in trouble and they realize, hey, you're not doing your due diligence as an influencer, they'll take you off the roster, which you don't want, right? Which you
Right.
don't want. And honestly, like your audience wants to know if you are being truthful. Have you actually used the product? Have you done this? And I'll even say, like being a part of Ecamm Fam, I can say, this is when I use Ecamm. And if I have to do any type of virtual summit where I need more people, I might lean towards this just because of tech usability based off of the guest, right? And I
Right.
think as long as you're transparent, people are going to be more open to that idea. So again, yeah, from a brand perspective, you definitely want to make sure that your influencers are disclosing that it is a paid partnership. They're following FTC guidelines. Don't, and I would even say as a small business, don't assume that the influencer knows this. I would still brief that in your onboarding process. So that's something like I've had brands reach out to me and I know what it is that I know because, we
Right.
freaking wrote the book.
Right. Right. Right.
But there are some where they just don't even mention it. Or on the flip side, if you have a brand that says, well, we don't want you, Stephanie, to say that it's an ad, then you have to like take a step back and be like, all right, am I putting my reputation on the line? Because I don't know if you've heard about other stories where a brand in particular worked with a bunch of influencers and said, do not disclose it. And then all of them got in trouble. This happened
Wow.
recently.
I
Yeah.
did
And
not
it
know
was
that.
just, oh, yeah. Twitter or X was all a buzz about what was happening. And yeah, you got to look out for yourself too, because if this is your business, if you're in the business of influencing, creating content, you want to make sure who you're working with.
That's true. That's true. That makes a lot of sense, and I definitely appreciate you saying that and sharing that information because we need to know. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, Stephanie, right?
You
And
don't know
that's
what it is
why
that you
it's
don't know. Yeah.
important not only for the businesses and the brands, but also the influencers. So I do have a question because some people don't know some of the basics. Like, what are the signs that I am a influencer? Can it be the number of followers alone? Like, what are some of the signs just for people to
Yeah.
understand who they are?
I would say it wasn't until people started reaching out to me and they'd go into your DMs and be like, hey, what mic do you recommend? And you realize like, oh, wait a second, I should have my Amazon store set up, right? I feel like when
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
start asking you for your opinion, that is the
Right.
sign that you're a key opinion leader, right?
Right,
That your opinion matters because you not only just talk the talk, but you walk the walk. And so it's not necessarily the number of followers always that you have online, it's the number of people that want to listen to you and take action from you. Because I tell this to Saeed too. I am a nano influencer, which means that my followers, nano influencers are 1,000 to 10,000 followers. So I'm not like your mega influencers. I'm not even your
okay,
macro influencer. I'm like the nanos of the nanos. However, I still got Ecamm Fam, right? There are
right.
still different agencies and marketings that I have an influence on, and I will count that as me being an influencer.
And you are. Listen, Stephanie is definitely an influencer and influences all of us with whatever she's doing. We are definitely following your lead. That being said, Jeremy, I want to come to you. I know that you're in our Zoom, and I want to take an opportunity now to get your comment or your question, Jeremy. And I'm doing this to set it up so he knows that I'm coming his way. So I haven't added his camera yet. So hold on, let me get Jeremy on. I see Eric here. Add his camera, and then boom, there Jeremy is. Hey, sir.
Hey, how's it going? Stephanie, in real life, well, sort of, right?
Right.
I think this is the first time I've actually talked to Stephanie directly in real time. This is kind of funny.
That's true. We're always like talking on Facebook. Yeah, it's funny. Hey,
Yeah. How's it going?
doing well, friend.
Well, congratulations on the book. You know, I got to say, I authored several books when I was much younger and had a lot more patience. And it is a lot of work dealing with, of course, writing the content and then copy editors and, you know, just everything that goes through the process of going from concept all the way through to publishing. It's an undertaking. So for the two of you guys to do it in tandem is pretty spectacular. I've only had one other co-author, and it was kind of, I just said, okay, you handle your chapters, I'll handle mine, and we won't cross streams, you know? So,
Yeah.
and that worked out pretty well. Too excited?
I am excited. Yeah, it's one of those things where I was telling Strick, it was crazy because like Eric got his books first, and then other people were getting their books because I was traveling. So it wasn't until last week that I actually had it in my hands. I was like, oh my God. And then I went through the process of like swapping the old book for the new one. And I was like, wow, this is like really real. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
to your point, it is a huge undertaking. I was telling Strick earlier, I was like, I remember when my daughter would go to bed and then I would be
Yeah.
writing the chapters, and then I would have to follow up with Eric. I'm like, hey, did you get this or that? And you know, you're just like keeping track of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It is definitely a lot of work. And, you know, it's a testament to, you know, the tenacity that it takes to put one of these together. It's quite, like I said, it's an undertaking. And so and congratulations. This is great for both of you.
No, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Eric and I are super stoked.
Well, Jeremy, thank you. And I
Hopefully
know
you
you
make
like
lots of
hanging out
money
with
and
us.
then they translate it and get residuals, and you know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
Hey, workshops, man. Hey, Eric and I are both available for workshops. I will definitely tell you that, because to Kirk's
Throw that
point
on out
earlier,
there.
There you go.
like we threw everything in this book from templates to worksheets to calculators.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those things where people know me in particular in the sense of like, I'm going to give it all to you, right? So if I'm going to show you step by step, these are the steps on how to do it. And this is the tool that you need
Right.
in order to finish it. And so, yeah, it was a huge undertaking in that sense of like, I need to put this all in here. We need to put this all in here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then distilling it down to like a presentation or to a course. That's another thing. But, you know, who knows if did you guys go through a publisher? Is it self-published? How did that work?
We went through Entrepreneur Press.
Okay. Okay. Do you know if they localize for other markets?
I think they do.
Oh, cool. Well, then you're looking at 10 years worth of checks. So that's pretty cool.
Hope so.
That's awesome.
So good.
That's awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeremy. And of course, you know,
You're
you
welcome.
can hang out as much as you can. Any questions you have, let me know and I'll bring you back in, okay? Stephanie Garcia and Eric, co-authors of this new book here, and I am just so excited to have Stephanie on. Of course, Stephanie has been here before, but my goodness, every time, like I don't know if you saw me like wiping sweat here from my studio, but I was just so excited about today's show to have you back on. I just think this is really, really cool, especially when we can work together to promote this book, and is for the brands, but it's also for influencers. So guys, you need to know the details about the business that you're in. So Stephanie said, listen, if people are asking you questions, if you're a content creator and people are asking you questions, you are an influencer. Great. What does being an influencer really mean? So having this ultimate guide could be a reference point for you when people are asking you questions about, what you're doing, how to do it. Who knows? Like, this is a big thing, Stephanie. I'll just go right to this. People want to know how they can make money at being an
Yeah,
influencer
that's
and
it.
working with a
Yeah,
brand? Like that's what
that's
people
it.
really want to know.
Yeah, there's okay, so this is one of the things that I was talking to our good friend Tanya, right? So I was on Tanya's show earlier and she was talking about, Stephanie, I had like a media kit. What else do I need as an influencer? I was like, you need case studies. You need to show
Mm,
that a brand reached out to you. And in the campaign brief, maybe the brand only wanted this, but then you came through because you're Ecamm fam. You're like, oh, but I could also give you not just the horizontal video. I could give you the vertical video. I could give you a short. I could give you a blog post. I could do this, right? Like even when I was thinking of Kirk and he was into the leap into tools and tactics, he was talking about all the different things that he goes above and beyond for his clients. That's the same thing if you want to work with brands, because as he mentioned earlier, brands talk to each other. And so if
Right.
you're the
they do.
one that says, I'm not just going to give you this, I'm going to give you this and this, then they remember you. And then they realize, oh, wow, Stephanie didn't only talk about us during that campaign. She's still an avid user. She's still talking about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so those are things where you stay top of mind and tip of tongue. Those are things that will help you make money as an influencer, right? And there's more to it than just like your
Hold on,
media kit.
Stephanie. I have to stop you. I have to stop you. You know how I am. We got to be able to eat some of the things that you
Yeah,
say.
yeah. We need to process. We need to process.
Because my wife is a musician, so I understand making media kits. Like in her world, we call them EPKs, the electronic press kit. I think I said that right, electronic press kit. But with what we're doing, you want to have a media kit. I have never thought, of course, you have all of your numbers, but I've never thought about adding case studies to that media kit just to explain I was asked to do this. I did A, but added B to it, and it increased the revenue from our campaign. Like that is just outstanding, and just the thoughtfulness in bringing out those details could help the next influencer go to the next level. I love that thought, and I really wanted to stop there, Kirk. I just think that that's a huge idea for people because you would miss it based off what maybe the next influencer is doing. And that's what I really like, Stephanie, is understanding that, hey, you are in competition with other influencers. You're not the only one. There are hundreds and thousands of influencers. Why would they work with you? And if you don't put your best foot forward with your resume, the media kit, then you could potentially lose the job. Now, of course, collaboration and partnership is important, and the brand needs to work with the right person. But man, a thoughtful influencer that could help you think through about things that you haven't thought about, I think it'd go a long way.
Yeah. And I would even say that even when an influencer campaign ends, there's nothing that doesn't say that you as an influencer can't go back to the campaign manager and say, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your campaign. Can I give you some feedback on what I think actually worked and what didn't work? Right. So I've had some campaigns where they wanted me to film it this way or that way. And I would say, like, sometimes I find that I get more conversions if it's lo-fi content, if it's just me shooting from my smartphone versus like my mirrorless camera. And sometimes they'll take that into consideration because, again, most campaign managers are in the office. They're not content creators, but you are. And so if you give them that tidbit of like, well, this is how my audience reacts to this type of stuff, then they'll find it to be really helpful.
I like that. I like that, Stephanie. You are definitely knocking it out of the park. I do not want to stop you at all with all of this stuff, but I do have a couple of things because people are like really going in the comments, and there's a couple of things that I want to be able to bring out from the comments here today. And Victor is here. He says, "Hey, I'm a tech guy. I brought the book. I feel it all goes hand in hand." So thank you so very much for that. But also, he says he's kind of reached out and more like a volunteer, and they let me test the device before it hit the market. I had no clue about what I was doing. Well, there you go. I mean, sometimes being able to reach out to brands and test certain things is a way in. And what you just said, which is now giving them feedback, could help, but also foster some communication and additional partnerships, right? I like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's additional partnerships, somebody's hearing that, and maybe that bell is ringing in their mind. Additional partnerships. I don't have any partnerships. I'd love a partnership. Get the book. So I just want to plug it yet again. uh DJ Strick is always so good in framing the question from the perspective of somebody who may be watching right now, and posing it to our guest. And of course, Stephanie has been sharing some really practical things. But the piece that I don't want anybody to miss is that she's talking about having worksheets and how to's, and lists and different things that you can do, different assets that you need to create. It's all in the book. It's all in the book because it's practical. It's not done from a theoretical perspective in terms of this is what influencer marketing is about, just from a Merriam-Webster type definition. No, this is somebody who's got boots on the ground, who's been doing the work and has been doing it successfully, and is now sharing that information with the rest of us. Real talk, the book should be way more money.
There you go.
Can I be honest with you?
He said it.
Nobody wanted. I'll say
Eric,
it. I'll say it. The book
Eric,
should be way more money.
He said it.
Yeah.
There you go. And if you're watching this today and you're gaining some great insights, not just about, hey, go get the book, but just learning about being an influencer, do me a favor, click the like button. Let me know that this is something that is very much so encouraging you. And Eric, I'm coming your way because I want to be able to hear some more about how the book was actually put together. I've looked at the book and it has, even in the back, you got a glossary back here, an index back here. Is that all a part of the plan of how you wanted to structure, or you guys wanted to structure this book for businesses?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we set out to do from the outset. And so we put together obviously the outline first and table of contents. And once it was approved by our editor at Entrepreneur Press, we got to work, and it was a great collaboration. Like I said, Stephanie is a pro's pro. So I had no
Yes, she
issues.
is.
No qualms about working with her at all, because she did a great job with the social media marketing book. So one thing I want to point out, Stephanie mentioned she's a nano influencer. We have an entire chapter 4, about why micro influencers are going in and macro influencers are going out.
Saw that.
We not only give definitions of the different categories, but we also explain why size in this case may not matter. So, and then we jump right into how, in chapter 5, about how to attract those micro influencers like Stephanie to actually help with your business, and strategies you can use to attract them to participate in a campaign with you.
There you go. And for people that are asking in the comments about the link is in the description. Let me try to see if it's still there, and I'll post it back again. I think I still have it. So there's the link again to the book, the Amazon link to the book. So if you're listening today, you want to know, hey, you guys are talking about this book, I need to have it. You're right, you need to have it. There's the link. Go pick it up today. There is one section in here. I think this is still chapter number 1. How much will you spend? So it's actually talking to the brands. And guys, you need to know like the information that brands are getting, like how much they should spend on influencer marketing. Because you are thinking, how much will I make? You need to know, like right now, it's 2024. Of course, guys, things change really, really fast. But you need to know in the market, like what it really costs for brands to do this. Brands need to do it. They're moving away from some of these bigger influencers to us. Take advantage of it. Yeah. Be a great partner. Find ways to partner with people. I had this one thing, and Stephanie, I'll ask you this question that I used to do. Not sure it's in the book. I'm sure that you guys have talked about it before, but I picked this up from an influencer that says the first one's free. And I don't know what you think about that, but when I work with brands and brands approach me, I always, if they approach me with something, I would come up with something and the first one would be free. Just, hey, let's just see how we work together. Do you like my content? Do you like what I do? And then from there, we can kind of communicate about, moving forward. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'm open to that. But also know that as a content creator, okay, as a content creator, yes, I could give you a vertical video, but there are different styles of vertical videos that I do, right? I could just give you a regular vertical video, or I could give you one with captions on top of it. I could give you a vertical video with captions on top of it, with B-roll on top of it, with sound effects on it. So it's just like, know how much would you normally charge for, let's say, a short form video? Let's say like a 1 minute short form video for me, you're probably looking at $350, but I'm going to give this to you for free, just so you get an
Yeah.
idea of it, of what it's like to work with me. And oftentimes most brands will be like, oh my gosh, this person is so buttoned up. They're so communicative, because those that are relatively new, they're like, you're lost in the DMs. They don't deliver things on time. But when you come to the table as a professional, already knowing what your value is at that point, that's undeniable. You're unstoppable at that point. So I'm okay
That's
with
so
you
good.
doing free content. And one of the things too, and this is, I didn't put this in the book, but this is a bonus because you guys all showed up today and I'm so
Let's
excited.
do it. I love bonuses.
Like, let's say on TikTok, you're creating content and it's popping off and it's getting a lot of engagement. You could literally reach out to a brand and say, hey, I'm getting a lot of organic engagement from this. Would you like the Spark code for this? And then you can target this to your specific audience, and they're going to love that. They're like, oh my gosh, like you're
Yeah.
giving me this
Real talk.
this good
Yeah.
content that's already proven, and this and this and this. They're going to keep you in mind for the next campaign for sure.
Yeah. Just even knowing the terminology to be able to share is a cheat code in of itself. But I love what you said there, because I'm a fan of doing things at a discount or even for free, for the first go round. In some instances, let me say it that way. Not always a fan, but I definitely believe firmly that everyone should know what the price is. Even if I'm giving it to you for free, everyone should be aware that this is the price. And I have had instances where I've said, well, this is the price, but I'm willing to do this first one for free. And they backed away. They didn't even want the free one because that price kind of caught them off guard. Like, oh, we don't even hold on. Didn't realize that this was what it was going to cost. And it saved me, saved them. And later on, we still had communication. We still had a relationship because I was very open and honest with them. But sharing what that price is helps everybody to be on the same page, because there's nothing worse than them not knowing what the price is, them getting something and then saying, we want to do that again. And then you share with them what the price is and they're like, oh, I had no idea that that's what it was going to cost me. We really can't do that. So I love the idea, the concept, but let's just put all the cards on the table. Somebody said in the comment section, communication, simply Ob says, communication will set anyone apart. And it's something that Stephanie's just like a walking, gem bomb. Like
she is.
They just fall out of her, but diamonds just fall out of her pocket. And so one of the things she just said there is like, sometimes the brands get lost in your DMs. This is something that I say in my community on a regular basis. That communication cycle or structure that you have set up, how are people going to get in touch with you? If you're putting out great content, if you're doing things on a level that people are going to want to jump on this ship that's moving, how are they going to get in touch with you? Do not have open lines of communication that you're not checking, or at least somebody in your team is not checking. That's right. A whole cheat code in and of itself, where some brand has messaged you 6 months ago and you find it and you're ready to cry because it's like, that could have been your ticket to the next level. That could have been, quite literally food on the table for the next 6 months. Because can we keep it a stack? If as an influencer, it can be that could be the difference maker.
It really could.
That could be the difference maker. I don't have like 400 clients. I got a solid 10. And after that 10, I'm starting to really start. Now the client needs me more than I need them. This is a whole other price. Let me stop talking because I'm giving away too much stuff. Those prices might look a little different. But my point is simply, once you have those pieces in place, then the communication can flow smoothly. And once communication flows smoothly, that's like that, you're smoothing the path towards being able to work with these brands. Last thing I'll share here, because when I get the mic, I just got to say what I need to say and be done with it. Even though the book is sharing the flip side, because many of us in the chat right now consider ourselves to be influencers and not brands. You also, as Strick said, you get to see what brands should be thinking about in terms of structuring the deal. And it's like basically being able to see the answer key before taking the test. So now you even know what to do. Now you know how to approach. Now you know what numbers, have at least a ballpark. But here's this last piece I'll say. A lot of us don't see ourselves as brands, but several of us are.
Right. That's true. True.
Several of us are. Several of us may work with somebody that's a smaller channel than we are. You may want to collaborate on something. And this influencer marketing piece, I mean, I'm telling you what I'm seeing in my mastermind groups, and Stephanie's kind of probably looking at me to shut up right now, but in my masterminds, we're looking at how can I get on your mailing list to promote my stuff? How can I get into your, call to action on your video so that my stuff can be seen? We need to look at ourselves as micro brands, nano brands. This book is for all of us. That's all I'm going to say.
It is. And I wanted to share this one point, Kirk, that Monty has, and I appreciate you, Monty, adding this in. He said he started using the word complimentary versus free, which I really do appreciate. Like when you find ways to restructure what you're saying, how you say it, because that all means something. Definitely that has a better meaning than free. Okay, I'll take that. That has a better meaning than free, because it's like I'm giving you something that's complementary to our partnership if we build this partnership together. So thank you for that input, Monty, and it's always great that you're here hanging out with us. I can't tell you. Say that again.
Can I add something to that?
Please do.
So yeah, to Kirk's point and to Monty's point, if it's going to be complimentary, I still draft an SOW. I'll say, here's still my contract. Here are the deliverables. But just notice that at the very bottom, it still has the value. I still want you to sign this document because this document still talks about the onboarding process and when I expect you to give me approval and all that other stuff. So they realize, this is actually a contractual thing. I know I'm getting it complimentary for free, whatever you want to say, but you're engaging in a business relationship with me.
Even with this complimentary
so good
video that I'm doing for you, it is the beginning of our partnership. And let me show you how detailed this really can be. Like working with me is like working with another corporation that has your best interest in mind. I'm just adding that in because Stephanie has just opened my mind to like the different parts and the detailed parts of all of this. I'm sorry. I'm a visionary thinker when we just think about the big thing. I'm working with a brand, but what does that mean? Let's break this down to what it actually means and what it costs for you to actually do what you do. And when you figure out what the cost really is, then you're able to really have an educated understanding between the two corporations of what it's like. And it may be the case where, hey, what you're doing, it costs too much. You're too expensive for us. And, that may be the question. Or you may really be not charging enough.
Here's a clincher. If any of you have ever received a free piece of gear from a brand, it's the exact same thing. We all know what the price is. They're just giving it to you for free. And so for the influencer, because you're a brand, you see what I did there? You're giving them the video. We all need to know what it costs, but you're giving them one for free.
That's right.
And listen, even though I may have gotten one mic for free, I may have purchased others. I know what the cost is, but I got one for free. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean when I say we have to also look at ourselves, not just as influencers, but also as brands as well.
I love it, Kirk. Stephanie, and I want to bring Eric back on too. Guys, I know I've had you here for a little bit. Is there anything you want to tell the audience? Eric, I'll actually start with you about this book and why they should pick it up.
Like I said, soup to nuts, no nonsense, gives you everything you need, gives you a glossary, gives you a lot of examples, gives you a lot of tips. We wanted to write this from the outset as a complete guide. And it's an ultimate guide
That's right.
to influencer marketing. And it's also it's been number one in different categories in Amazon. Right now, it's number one in entrepreneurship advertising, 5-star rated. And so, yeah, get it while it's hot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Eric, thank you for taking the time to be on the
Yeah.
show with us today. It's our first
Thanks for
time
having me,
meeting.
Strick. I really appreciate it.
But your partnership with Stephanie allows you to be in our community as well. So again, thank you. All right, and you're very welcome as well.
Yep.
Stephanie, we're wrapping this up today. People heard us talk about this book. What do you really want them to take away?
I will definitely say that as a content creator, as an influencer, just as Kirk mentioned before, this is like getting the test key to see what brands are actually looking for, how they're going to rate you, what kind of relationships they have. Because the brands that get this, they don't know what it is that they're doing. They're just starting out. So they're looking for like, oh, what should I be looking for? And when you come to the table saying, well, here is everything that you're looking for, they're absolutely going to love that. And on the flip side, with you becoming a brand yourself, you definitely want to start thinking of, well, if I start working with brands, if they don't come correct with me with a campaign brief, do they really know what it is that they're doing? Do I really want to work with them? Hold on a second. They didn't mention anything about FTC guidelines. Maybe this brand is a red flag, right? So this is not just you being interviewed as the influencer for the campaign, but also you interviewing the brand as far as, is this the strategic partner that I want to take with me along my influencer journey?
Wow. Listen, there you go, guys. I have put the link to the book inside of the comments, and I just had to move on, Kirk, because she's always like just dropping so many things. The link is there. Please pick up the book so you'll know. And if you have any friends, just kind of share the information out there. We want this book to continue to be number one and to continue to sell. You know, let's go with that. But it's going to help all of us. And I think it's important for you to see this as a reference for yourself. You know, sitting down reading this may be good, but sometimes you have an opportunity to go. It has an index in the back. And let me just give you the cheat to it. So it has an index in the back, and if you want to look at Opus Clips and what they're doing, on page 111, it talks about Opus Clips, okay? If you want to know about, let me go to the Ks. If you want to know about keyword research, on page 81 and 83, it talks about keyword research. It is all here in the book, guys. So definitely check it out, and I'm doing my very best to help get this information out. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So here is the know.
You know what I'm also going to add? There are several influencer management databases that you need to put yourself in there because they might not know who you are. So you could add your information on there. And there's a whole list of all the different influencer management agencies and databases that you as a content creator should start adding yourself in there.
And that's in the book?
That's in the book.
It's worth it.
Jesus.
That alone is worth it. So once we get off the show, I have it in the book, but I'm just going to grab a couple from Stephanie only because she's here. Love hanging around you. Of course, we will see each other at Creator Camp. Guys, there's only a few more tickets left. So if you want to hang out with us and Ecamm fam, we had a great time last year. Last year, Stephanie brought a backpack that she could actually put different messages on the back of. So I'm thinking this year, what is Stephanie gonna bring to kind of wow us? You know, that we don't have. You know, stuff that we don't have. I know you're thinking about it, Stephanie. You know, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you 2 weeks ahead of time, so I have enough time to order whatever you have, and we'll be twinning again.
You know what I'm gonna say too? I'm gonna say too, since Eric already spilled the beans that we're working on the second edition of the Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing.
Okay.
You guys need to pitch me. You got to come and tell me what your case studies are, because when you look in the index of these books, I reached out to the crew. I reached out to Owen Video. I reached out to Zaylee Barkley. I reached out to my friends, and I'm like, what are you doing as an influencer? What are you doing as an agency? So if you already have the Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing and you look through the table of contents, you can literally come up to me and say, Stephanie, I have a new case study for you. I'm like, come, pitch, tell me about it. I want to know.
Wow.
There you go. You could be in the next book.
I might have a couple. I might have a couple.
There you go.
Let's go.
Listen,
I love it.
And
I love it.
I'll say this. I know we're getting ready to close. This, even as you know, just building off of that scenario that we were talking about earlier with that brand that, you know, you're going to do this maybe complimentary content for. You're still going to have them, you know, sign the SOW and basically onboard them into your process. You know what would be a dope thing to add to your onboarding that you send to the brand?
Your book. Oh yeah. Anyone who is like, I had two people. So I spoke at an event 2 weeks ago. Two people booked a strategy call, and it was like the same week as the book launch. And I was like, I'm just going to send you the book. I was like, you know how big of, I was just like, I was feeling good. I was like, here's the flex. I know we're going to talk about this. Here's the book.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to be able to do
It's
that as an
absolutely awesome.
influencer, you know, you're basically all into this. And some of us, I hate to say it, we're doing it for fun. These are nice little hobbies, you know, that we're doing. But if you really want to be serious about this, the book is a way to do it. But also, I will tell you this, Stephanie has a YouTube channel. What is it again? Lights, Camera.
Live.
Y'all go check her
Lights,
out.
camera.
Kirk and I have a favorite that kind of changed our lives when she was actually going through. What was it again, Kirk? When she went through the listing, like the price list.
Yes.
Showrunner.
Showrunner.
Yeah, people
Secrets
still
from the Set.
find me on Showrunner. Yeah, that's a masterclass in and of itself. Ecamm family needs to roll with that. I feel like as soon as you know Ecamm, if you want to figure out all the different ways you can monetize your newfound skill set, go for it. Have fun.
Yeah. Even here on the stream show, we share so many ways that you can use Ecamm to get the bag. I mean, if that's your goal, I mean, but I just feel like if you've learned the skills of how to utilize a platform, then you should be able to monetize that. So I love it. I love the resources. The truth is, I mean, I know I missed the beginning part of the call, and I'm certain that you kind of got a chance to share, you know, the impetus, the reason why you decided I've got to do this book. But one of the examples is just what you said a second ago, in terms of I got on a call with somebody and was like, you know what? Here's the book. This is the reason why you create such a resource, is because you know that there are people who have these kinds of questions. And instead of having to cobble it together every single time, trying to save these email templates with links and points and no, here's the book. And it's got everything. I literally back the truck up, put everything in here so that you can have the ultimate guide to influencer marketing. And I just feel like, man, we got to honor that kind of effort and foresight and innovation to be able to do the non-sexy, behind the scenes hard work that it takes to write a book and go ahead and grab that thing. So I'm grabbing
Now
several copies.
I feel like now we need to do a show of like how to teach y'all how to write a book.
Right.
And put it out
I'm down
there.
for that show. I'm down for
Yeah.
that show.
Let's do
Down
it.
for
Hey
that.
guys, thank you so very much. Stephanie, thank you. Thank you, Eric, for coming on. And everybody that's watching today, we will be off next Sunday, but we'll be coming back with Daniel Chi. We're going to be talking about being a solo production person, like doing remote production, which we all do. But how do you make money from it? Like Daniel's
Yeah, I
going to
love
break it
that.
all down for
Let's
us. So
go.
don't miss that coming up in June. And you know how we do here, man. I love being around you. Again, thank you for watching. Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.